Hi, kindergartners. This week we're going to be talking about over and under. Let's do those one more time. Over. So you put your hand flat and your other hand goes over. And then you leave your hand here and your other hand goes like this. Under. Okay? And to do that, I want to do a couple of things. I'd like to read a story called Over and Under the Pond about a boy and his mom who go on a little canoe paddle and they see some things. And then I would like to watch a video. And the video is a log. It's just a log that's out in the woods going over a stream. And you're going to see lots of animals going over the log, and you're going to see a few going under the log, okay? So we'll watch that video in a minute. So the first thing I want to do is read this story. So over and under the pond, okay? And let's see what goes over and under the pond in this story. Over the pond we slide, splashing through lily pads, sweeping through reeds. So there's the tiny little canoe with the boy and his mom, and here's the pond that they're going to paddle around. The water's a mirror reflecting the sky, sunshine and clouds, then a shadow below. What's down there? I ask. Under the pond? Mom says. So they're looking. They are on top. They're paddling over, but they're wondering what's under. Under the pond is a whole hidden world of minnows, crayfish, turtles, and bullfrogs. We're paddling over them now. So here's the boat. Here's the bottom of the boat, and there's all the things under the pond. Over the pond, we skim past tall rushes, whirligig beetles loop and twirl, skaters on a warm summer surface. Under the pond, minnows dart through weaving forests of grass, while a brook trout lurks, ready to lunge. So you can see, there's the boat over the pond. Here are the bugs over the pond, and here is under the pond. Lots of interesting things happening under. Over the pond, we lift and dip and pull past a row of painted turtles on a waterlogged tree. 1, 2, 3. They slip off and away. Splash, gurgle, sploosh. Under the pond. So at first, the turtle is over the pond on a log, and then he jumps in, and then he is under. Over the pond, cattails rustle and shush in the wind. Listen close. Cucklaree, red-winged blackbirds race by. One has grass for her nest. Under the pond, a cattyfish larva builds a home of her own, a secret shelter of pebbles and sand. So here's what's happening over the pond. Birds building nests. And here's what's happening under the pond. I wonder if you have ever been in a lake or a pond or a river and you've gone underwater and opened your eyes. What kinds of things did you see? Did it look kind of like this? Kind of dark and rocks and plants? Over the pond, the shadows of trees lean out from the shore. We coast under a low-hanging branch. A moose looks up with a mouth full of water lilies. We've interrupted his lunch. So this is what's happening over the pond. There's the canoe. There's the moose. These are lily pads here, these plants that grow over the water. Under the pond, beavers dip and dive. They pump with powerful tails and raise to the surface with delectable roots from the mud. So beavers like to swim under the water. And in the video we're going to watch later, you're going to have to watch for some beavers. Over the pond, the wind gives a push and stirs the light dappled leaves on shore. There on a branch, a new goldfinch teeters, finally ready to fly. So over the pond, we have the canoe, we have a tree. Here's our nest with the goldfinch almost ready to fly. But under the pond, so you can look down below here, under the pond, tadpoles are changing, learning to hop. They're losing tails, growing legs, growing up. What does a tadpole become when it grows up? A frog, right? A tadpole becomes a frog. Over the pond, there at the shore, tall and silent and still, a great blue heron stares deep down into the water. It tenses. takes one long step. So here's the blue heron. And again, you're going to see this in the video that Mrs. Holmes is going to show. There's going to be a blue heron in our video. He takes one long step and strikes. He's going to go under the pond to get his food. It catches a wiggling quicksilver minnow from where it was hiding under the pond. So he reaches under to get his food. Over the pond we drift, heads tipped up to the sun. A woodpecker clings to a teetering pine, digging for ants. So let's see here. Here he is. So there's the woodpecker. And here's our canoe down here. This is what's happening over the pond. But under the pond, the otter claws for freshwater mussels. So here's an otter. He kind of looks like a beaver, but they're smaller. And you're also going to see an otter in the video that Mrs. Holmes is going to show you. Over the pond, a sleepy dragonfly lands for a rest. His spindly legs tickle my knee. So here they are over the pond. And if you look on his knee, there's a dragonfly. Under the pond, dragonfly larvae watch what swims by. They catch minnows in monster fast jaws. So they're saying that the dragonfly that lives over the pond when it's grown up, when it's still little, lives under the water. That's very interesting. I didn't know that. Over the pond, the shadows stretch. Ospreys circle on quiet wings. Raccoons and mink stalk the shoreline for supper. Under the pond, with a flip of a tail, a crayfish disappears into the dark. So you can see both under and over the pond here. Here's the under. Here's the raccoon. We're going to see raccoons in the video. Over and under the pond. Over the pond, we head for home. We glide, swish, bump, right up onto shore as a far-off loon calls goodnight. There's also loons in our video. The sky turns from sunset to dusk to dark. Night settles over the pond. The prowling catfish and drowsy turtles, the scuttling crayfish and tadpoles turned frogs, wading herons and stalking raccoons. And the hidden world under the pond. All the things happening under the water that we can't see. Okay, friends, so we've finished our story and we heard about so many animals in there. So I'd like to watch a video. And so this is a real video. Sometimes nature photographers will set up a camera in a spot to watch the wildlife go by. So that's what this is. This is a nature camera that somebody set up at a log. And it's a log that goes over a stream. And it's just going to show all of the animals that go over the log. And you're also going to see some animals going under the log. And you have to look really closely for those. The ones that I saw when I watched it, I saw a couple of beavers go under the log. And I saw an otter or a mink. It was smaller than a beaver, but it goes under the log. So watch for those things and then watch for the many, many things that go over the log. Okay. And then we'll come back after that video. Wasn't that really neat? Did you see some of the animals from our story? In our story, we saw raccoons, and I definitely saw a lot of raccoons go over the log. In our story, we saw that bird called a blue heron, and I definitely saw a blue heron in our video. So what I'd like you to do now in Seesaw is to get out the microphone and record either a video or just your voice telling me something you saw go over the log and something you saw go under the log. So I would say, I saw black bears go over the log, and I saw water going under the log. So I'd love to see and hear what you saw and heard in our video.